But yeah, we talked about that. I walked out with a prescription and for antidepressants, and also a recommendation for a weekly therapy session. So I immediately picked up the prescription. I'm very excited to pop my pills, just like owning it, right? But then as like the months went on, I just didn't really feel much better. I almost started to think I was having negative side effects of the medication, and I was tired all the time. I was gaining more weight, which made me even less motivated to work. I was just so disoriented. Like I didn't even know what day of the week it was, and we'd be going over like very basic things like scales or like really simple songs. My memory was just like, I couldn't remember anything, and it was so embarrassing. Like I couldn't even like get through playing one song without messing up, and like I couldn't remember the things that she had just told me a second ago. Like my mental health was so shook. Like my brain was just not functioning. So I ended up going back to the psychiatrist, and I explained to him, like this like lack of energy and motivation, and that the medication wasn't working for me. And so he adjusted my antidepressant, and then he also gave me a stimulant, Adderall, to take on top of my antidepressant to hopefully like help motivate me to get back to work. And let me tell you guys, it's shocking how much that pill changed me. Like I took it for the first time, and I had all of these ideas of like things that I wanted to do, and I had all of these ambitions. It's almost like it changed me from being an introvert to an extrovert. That's like the best way to explain it. Like all of a sudden I wanted to go out into the world and do so many things. So by summer 2019, I decided that I didn't really want to be on the medication anymore. It just didn't feel right for me, so I stopped it. I feel better. So around this time, I like lost weight. I was hanging out with friends again. I even posted a few videos on YouTube, and it just felt like there was suddenly like a light at the end of the tunnel, and I was regaining control of my life. But then by fall 2019, it started to feel more like yo-yo-ish. Like my mood was up and down, and some weeks I would have energy and be productive, and others I would barely get out of bed. And when I was posting videos, people would still comment on my face and say things like, what happened to you? You used to be pretty. Like, what happened to your face? Or what? Stop with the filler and the Botox. And I mean, yeah, obviously, I've talked about this already, but I've been online forever, and I have thought I had thick skin. But like, these people were just confirming to me the same negative thoughts I had about myself when I looked in the mirror. And I thought that, I had lost weight and I was eating better, and I thought that the inflammation had gone down, but then they just kept confirming to me that my face looked abnormal, which caused me to fucking spiral again. It was around this time that the financial repercussions of my depression were really starting to hit. Like my savings were gone, my rent was late, and bitch, I was panicking. And I mean, like, as scared as I was of being kicked out of my apartment, I was clearly more afraid of the camera, which, saying it out loud makes no sense. I got it in my head that my face would not look normal unless I got back down to like 105 pounds, which is crazy because let me tell you, at 30 years old, it is very hard to take yourself from underweight to extremely underweight. To me, I thought if those comments could stop, if I thought my face looked normal again and those comments could stop, that it would be kind of the solution to all of my issues because my anxiety would lessen, and then I would be able to work consistently again. Because obviously, getting kicked out of my apartment, it made me want to push myself. And I had this moment of like, this can never happen again. And I went on this very like Whole Foods only, zero cheats diet, throwing everything out of my apartment that doesn't fit the rules. Started exercising way more. I was wearing a Fitbit, and I was like taking 30,000 steps a day. I was, a person of extremities. I'm either walking 30,000 steps a day and eating only fruits and vegetables, or I'm eating a whole bag of junk food and sitting on the sofa. That's me. I don't know what's wrong with me, you guys. I really don't.
Culturally, people are trained to think in terms of the meaning of life, as if there's just one, right? In terms of the Judeo-Christian worldview, there's only one heaven, there's only one hell, there's only one God that either hears your prayers or ignores it for everyone. So in the same way, there's supposed to be one truth and one meaning of life. We're not conditioned culturally to ask ourselves, what is meaningful in my life? It's a huge difference. It's not just a grammatical difference. What am I doing that's meaningful? What's meaningful for me? What makes my life meaningful? What am I doing that's meaningful? Now, this is the year 2023. At this moment, we have a huge public discourse about beauty and ugliness, which I think does reflect the extent to which that was a suppressed or repressed area of self-examination and cultural critique. People are asking themselves aloud, as never before, oh, wouldn't my life be so much easier if I were just a few inches taller, if my nose were just a little bit better shaped, if I were just a little bit more attractive to the opposite sex. And of course, some people are fantasizing about how wonderful their lives would be if they were in this class of people who are so attractive that they never need to work at all. What we need is a sort of symmetrical analysis. Symmetrical reflections on just how meaningless your life can be when you're gorgeous. What we need are reflections on an analysis of how getting laid doesn't solve any of your fundamental problems, how the people who have wonderful sex lives and who are really good looking can be completely miserable with absolutely everything else in their lives. And in a sense, that's always been there because it's been a part of rock and roll. It's been a part of the biographies and autobiographies of movie stars and models and even political leaders. What do you think? Bill Clinton. Come on, guys. You can have a great sex life and be attractive and absolutely everything else in your life is wrong. When you're asking yourself, when you're examining seriously, what is the meaning of your life? What is the meaning of my life? The answer is never going to be, I'm hot. The answer is never going to be that I'm attractive, no matter how attractive you are. And the answer is never going to be getting laid, and it's never going to be orgasms. The crisis and the crux that Kalel has come to in her life, it's almost perfectly parallel to the crisis and the crux that Richard came to. Vegan Gains, Richard Burgess, right? He had absolutely nothing meaningful in his life except for his own body, except for his appearance. Same with Kalel. The difference is Kalel quit being vegan and got on the pills, right? Richard has continued to cling to his vegan identity while going down exactly the same drain. What's meaningful in your life? How can you live a meaningful life? And then, whether you're talking about 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, or a larger group of 50 or 500, how can we lead a meaningful life together? How can we have some kind of aspiration and ambition to change the world?